Hey, I'm Mark Tornillo.
I'm Alan from the Metal Voice.
And I'm Peter from Accept. And you're watching The Metal Voice.
Here we are with another special edition, live with Mark and Peter from the one and only Accept.
Alright.
So here we are on the Teutonic Terror Attack 2012 tour, and we had a great success with Wolf Hoffman during our Skype interview, and just generated lots of positive feedback. So we were lucky enough to sit down with these two dudes here today and have a little bit of a sit-to. So let's see here. How's the tour going so far?
Terrific. We started Washington D.C. About 5 days ago, and did Philly, New York, Worcester, Mass, and now in Montreal, Canada, and it couldn't be better. You know, we're really enjoying this, and it's a tight set, and we're just kicking ass every night.
And you're the creator, of course. That's going well. Guys you've known for a long time. And
Double German attack.
there you go. Teutonic Terror.
I love it.
So Mark, let's go back to how you joined the band, or the first meetings, the first jam sessions with these guys. What were they like?
The very first jam session was just a surprise, man. I mean, I had no idea. I just got a phone call one day, and long story short, went down there to jam with Wolf and Peter, and it was just it's all it was just a friendly little get together, scream a little, sing some old stuff.
You took your shirt off.
Threw around. I was hot. It was just usually the case.
I'm still fit. I fit.
It just doesn't work otherwise. Trust me. So, but we really hit it off. Had a good time, and I figured that was it. And a few days later, Peter called me and said, "What would you think about doing an album?"
An album.
I was like, pretty much floored. So.
And that was the beginning of 30 tumultuous months and touring.
And while we're at it, see the rest of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like joining the Navy, see the world.
And for you to go back, Peter, and get a contract, a new recording contract of all these years, with the Nuclear Blast, how did that go compared to maybe when you were starting out in the late 70s? Was it easier because Accept had a certain clout with their names, or was it easy to get that recording contract?
The business side of things is always difficult, and this one was fairly easy, and we're very happy with Nuclear Blast. It's a really great company. They've been around with us. They grew up with us, and right now I think they carry the catalog of some of the best metal bands there are. They're really good. They're very much behind us. They do a lot of things for us, and we're very happy with them. It is a new beginning for us. That's how it feels. It's really hard for us. We have a great catalog, back catalog. We have a great history. But to be quite honest, we feel kind of reborn with Mark, and it's a new chapter. Nobody really looks back. It was good back then, but see if we can even top it. And so far, we're right on track.
Yeah. So speaking of that, were you a fan of Accept before joining the band?
Definitely.
And with the end of TT Quick, what were you doing since the end of TT? What happened to TT Quick?
We kind of faded off into the distance, went off into the sunset. We never really broke up. We always really had these spots where we didn't play for one reason or another. But for all intents and purposes, the band was kind of like beating a dead horse anymore. So
the music scene had changed by that point.
It had changed, and we weren't happy with it. We weren't getting anything done. It didn't seem. So I mean, I've literally been working for the last, raising a family and being a working stiff. I'm a union electrician.
Okay.
Still am. So, I mean, I still work when I go home.
Any singing gigs throughout all those years?
Yeah, here and there. We would actually get together and do a couple of TT Quick shows once in a while. But I mean, I played with some other guys, and but mostly just for fun and not for not for profit.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Accept's got challenging music. They got a very tight set. How did your voice react after all that layoff, or after that period being laid off?
It was. It was shocked. It's it's still a work in progress. I think it's getting stronger all the time. So back in the day we used we'd sing day after day after day after day, and that's pretty much what's going on now. So it's it's a muscle. The harder you work it, the better it reacts.
For sure.
So,
yeah. And anything about their music that you found particularly challenging?
yeah, all of it.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah, it's just, it's a lot like the TT Quick stuff. I mean, it's not unfamiliar territory for me. So,
and then, obviously it's an enjoyable experience, but again, it's changed your life. Like you said, you were working stiff, and now you're out there visiting the world, like Peter said, and everything's gravy, right?
I have nothing to complain about, man. Nothing to complain about.
Passport is full.
Yeah, my passport is full, exactly.
Did you have to get one?
No,
when you joined the band, you had one?
No, I had a passport. I like to travel.
Okay.
But,
maybe not this much, though.
but it definitely is full. I just had to get more pages put in it. So.
And what do you think about these guys? I mean, how's your German coming along, first of all?
Sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut, that's
Don't
about
put
it.
him on the spot. I will tell you the truth.
Nicht sehr gut.
Jimmy wanted to know, like, are these guys talking German behind your back or something? Are you able to catch that? Or?
Well, I actually took German at school. I wish I had paid attention.
Would it
Much
come
like
in handy?
other things.
So, what we're looking at now, the characters in the band. I mean, Peter and Wolf have been together forever. Who would be the Joker of the band?
This one.
This one?
Right
For sure.
here. Him and Stefan. They're the two pranksters.
It's Stefan.
But mostly on
I'm
each
just
other.
an assistant. Assistant joker.
Peter, you get used to after a while. It's just pretty much everything that comes out of his mouth is not true.
And did you initiate him into the band? Was there any sense of pranks or initiation, or is this like an ongoing thing?
No, I think we took it easy on him because he's been through enough.
No, they've all,
No.
there was nothing like
really-
that going on. But I mean, it's just a consistent comedy act on the bus and everywhere else. It takes some getting used to.
Well, it's stressful sometimes. You travel so much, because of the LN restrictions. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass to travel, and you just keep optimistic and you keep it light, and you just got to run through there because, in the contrary to everybody's belief, this is not as easy to do. Travel around, waiting, packing your bags, going in there, being in traffic jams. Sitting on the tarmac in a plane that just doesn't take off, and you miss the next one in Paris, and then you have to figure out how you're going to get to Stockholm. They're already there, and it never ends. It's a stressful life, so you got to keep it light and always. So that's why I'm joking, I guess.
And you guys did quite a few festivals over the summer, and you're, I believe, heading over to some more festivals after this tour, North American tour?
Actually, we're doing a couple in Texas. We're saving all the festivals for next year.
Okay.
We're doing all the ground touring this year with the trucks and buses, and then next year we're going to concentrate on doing all festivals.
Okay.
We did quite a few of them in 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This year we pretty much concentrated on
Recording.
doing our thing. Concentrate, recording, getting the record out, doing our thing.
Well, speaking of Stalingrad, another great album. We reviewed both Blood of the Nations and Stalingrad on our show. Lyrics. What inspires you with your lyrics? Songs like The Galley and Hung, Drawn, and Quartered. This is not really about, boy meets
they're
girl,
not.
boy
But-
loses girl.
No, well, we're a little old to be writing about boy meets girl, boy loses girl. We're all old married guys, It's a little different than it was in the 80s. But stuff like that. Those are really titles and ideas that we've all kind of tossed around. The Galley was one of those songs where we really had no idea where that song was going.
Right.
One night we were all sitting around in the studio with Andy and just, what does it sound like? It sounds like guys rowing a boat.
It does actually.
And then we started talking about the galley ships, and I was like, well, that's a pretty cool idea. And I started doing a little research on it, and there was this actual poem by Rudyard Kipling called
okay.
"The Song of the Galleyman," and I've read that a few times, did some other research. I was like, this is a piece of cake, man. this is coming down. So, and it works really well.
Yeah.
Hung, Drawn, and Quartered is another one that it just was just a cool title. It fit really well, and I did a bunch of research on that as well. And man, talk about brutal punishment, man.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to get into it on the video, but that's what they used to do in the old, in England back in the 1600s
Right.
and stuff, because they'd accuse you of 3 or 4 crimes. They'd punish you 3 or 4 times. Maybe we couldn't just kill you.
Yeah.
Let's get this guy.
Dismember him.
We're gonna hang him. We're gonna pull his guts out, we'll burn him, and then we'll throw him in the fire.
Yeah. And now looking back to your back catalog, I know Peter, you went back with Wolf and revisited, get the classic sound going into Blood of the Nations. And you know, songs like Bulletproof on your last set, the last tour here in Montreal was a great fit. Any surprises this time around?
No, not really. I mean, we're playing about 3 or 4 songs from Stalingrad, 3 from Blood of the Nations, and then we have certain classics we have to play. For us, it's a walk in the tightrope. If we don't play something weird, you know, some people say, well, we don't know that. Why are they playing that? Why didn't they play that?
Especially on a co-headline tour like this, where we don't have, you know, the 2-hour plus set that we would like to have, but you can't always do it. So you got a better shot of seeing the unexpected songs on when we're headlining by ourselves. You know.
Any songs in particular you enjoy singing or performing from the back catalog?
All of them. I mean, you know, it's a blessing to be able to have that kind of a catalog to draw from. I mean, it's amazing, you know. So, but I love singing Princess. That's always
you know. Classic,
I mean, it's just stuff like that. Even the ones that we wind up doing all the time, you know. Good stuff.
These are always good songs, and the ones where the crowd participates, you know. And that's what everybody's waiting for. It really is, you know. It's one thing to go like this a whole show, but then when you're actually involved and there's a dynamic building and between Mark and the audience, and it's amazing. That's the same with Bulletproof or Metal Hard. You know, these songs are just they're made for that.
One I was surprised to hear off the Blood of the Nation set was Monster Man. I love that song. You know, that was just one you weren't expecting. You know?
That's a fun one.
And there's something for fans to understand too. I mean, you pick a set list, and we pick them from the way they sound live and the way people react to them. And some songs are really great, like Blood of the Nations is a great song, but it's not a great live song. It's just not. We've tried it a couple of times, and it's one of these songs you listen to on the album. But live, you can't do this to it. It's not
something
there.
gets lost in the translation somehow. Not everything translates live.
That's how we put a set together, with, you know, the dynamics that we build it up, and at the end you go home and your ass hurts because you've been kicked so hard. You know, and that's important. That's the most important thing, and that's for a fan should be always the most important thing. And you always go back to yourself and listen to the stuff you want to hear.
And for the writing for Stalingrad, now you were more comfortable in the band. Has anything changed on your part? Was it just this, you know, repeat of the success of Blood of the Nations? How was the writing process?
I think we pretty much left off, or took up right where we left off with Blood of the Nations. You know, with Andy and everybody else. I mean, it was just really a continuation, other than the subject matter. You know, we all discussed Stalingrad itself and what it was going to be about. So, you know, but it was, you know, really more of the same. I mean,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
So is Gabby or Deefy, which is the same person, right? They contribute any lyrics, any suggestions, any titles?
Well, she had a lot to do with Stalingrad, the title of herself.
Okay.
But also Shadow Soldiers was one of hers. That song was kicking around, and we were really under the gun with this record. I had so many, so little time, and so many songs at once, and I was really getting flustered. And that one, I just couldn't come up with the right thing for it. She came up with that title and said, "What do you think about this idea?" And I was like, "Well, thank you."
Thank you. Perfect. Your timing is great.
You're a kid.
And Flash to Bang Time. I mean, what's that about?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Just the title.
I got a little carried away watching a show about quantum physics one night, and really, and that kind of stuff just fascinates me. So, but Flash to Bang Time itself is a military term.
Okay.
It's the time between the report of the bomb, with the flash and the report, and that's how they used to tell how far away they were.
Oh, okay.
You hear the pop, you see the flash, and if it gets closer and closer, just like thunder and lightning, that's the Flash to Bang Time. It gets close when they get right together. Boom, you're right in it.
And that concludes our Popular Mechanics with Mark episode. Just go back, Peter, maybe throw out some titles from some albums and just give us your opinion of what was happening at the time. Let's say, you know, of course, Balls to the Wall, that just really took off radio commercial-wise here in North America. Any particular stories or anything from that process that sticks out in your mind when I mentioned that title?
I think the cover.
Yeah,
the cover, you know, it was a cover. No, it was different, and especially for the time, you know, it was like been in The Wrestler.
The Wrestler, exactly.
Top 30 riffs of all time, you know, the riff itself, and that's what we're always after, riffs. You know, we know that our music is built on riffs. You have to find that riff. Richie Blackmore always need to find the riff. You know, there lays that little secret that we try to somehow unlock every time we do our album. To write something where you hear it once, you riff and you hum it, and that's it, and you know, and the song becomes a classic.
But it's always melody driven as well,
Right.
not just riffs. That's the difference. You know, some bands are just riffs.
No, exactly.
You know, and no melody. This band's always been about hooks and riffs and really, you know, wonderful classical melodies and stuff like that, you know. So.
And then being a longtime Accept fan myself, I mean, the consistency and the high quality that you guys have put out over the years, right up to, you know, Stalingrad and Blood of Nations is no different. The songs are top notch.
To us, you know, we're never really satisfied with the product. You know, Wolf is very anal, you know, I'm very anal. Mark knows, you know, and I'm sure it was a learning progress for him too, with these Germans, what the hell are they doing? But it makes a difference, you know, you look at the song and when it's done and say, what is it missing? Is it missing something? Is this perfect? Can we do something else? What odd thing can we throw in there to make it a little different, you know, and give it you know. Sometimes we go out on the limb and do weird things, and that was Fast as a Shark.
Right, exactly.
I mean, who puts a little stupid song in front of it, and it was the biggest thing for example.
Well, let's get
defined us.
Yeah, let's get into that. I mean, can you tell us a story about Dieter Dirks and how that came into?
Yeah, he was the producer at the time. He produced all the Scorpions records. You know, we were in the same studio, and we had the song, and we just somehow we thought, just to start it like that, it's like.
I heard that was actually Dieter when he was a boy.
He was 10 or 8 or 10 years old, and his mother said she was cooking there every day. You know, she said, "We got the old record from Dieter," and they said, "Oh yeah, we got that out." And back then, I think it was even on a tape.
Okay.
We listened to it and said that was great. Give it a good scratch.
Yeah, she must have
and I
been
think it was
impressed.
literally. I think it was even mixed a little lower, so when the scratch would come in and scream, it would always blow your speakers. You know, it was like such an impact. And I'm sure, you know. I don't know how many kids were, you know, blamed by their mother. Turn that off!
I still remember the first time I ever heard that it was at Lemoore, the Rock Capital of Brooklyn, which was just a notorious club in the 80s.
Right.
And we used to play there all the time. And the DJ was, you know, he was always on the cutting edge, and he would just play. He got up to one and he goes, "You guys got to hear this. This is brand new from Accept." And this was before before Bandit started playing. Put that on, and the whole place went, "What in God's name is going on here?" It was like, "Oh my God!" And it literally brought the house down more than the band was going to. So
another album, just fast, maybe Eat the Heat. What was happening around that time?
Eat the Heat. You know, we had a different singer at the time. You know, we parted with Udo, and we tried some different things. You know, looking back, you know, we could have done it differently. On the other hand, there's some songs on there I really like. You know, it sounded different. The mixing, the production part is really at the end. You know, it got out of hand.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you get lost in your own sense.
Right.
And Dieter Dirks had so much to do with this. You want to do at the time was Def Leppard was really big,
Right.
and this whole thing. And first computers got involved in music. That's an interesting point. That was the first time when all of a sudden things were moved, and you know, and it wasn't about the playing anymore. It was about how far can we push it to make it sound like this.
Right.
So when you listen back to it, the meat of the songs is really good. It's just it should have stayed a demo and should have just been recorded. It would have been fine.
Right.
But I still stand to the album. I like it, and you know, it's not as
I like it
dominant
too.
as some others, but it's part of our history. And
Yeah, I think that the playing on it is fantastic. And like you said, you tried something, and you know, Dieter Dirks, his influence maybe on, as early as Metal Heart was trying to get you a little bit away from the Accept sound. And I mean, even Udo, I remember reading an article where he said he kept calling him Klaus from the Scorpions, you know. So. Okay, well that's all I have, and again, it's been a real pleasure meeting you both. And again, go out, Teutonic Terror Attack 2012. Make sure you see the concert. Make sure you buy the albums. That's what the show is all about.
That's what metal's all about.
That's what metal's all about. We haven't
Buy
gone
those records.
anywhere. Metal movement's stronger than ever.
you cannot afford to miss this. Let's put it that way. You cannot afford to miss this. Absolutely not.
They're queuing outside as we speak.
I'm serious. I'm not kidding. You think I'm kidding? There's no way. You miss this, you regret it. You shouldn't live with regrets in your life. Think about it. Who wants to live with regrets?
No.
Come to the show,
Come to the show.
get it done. Your ass will hurt a little bit.
They send
Who
you home
cares?
happy.
Cross that off your bucket list.
Bucket list. Yeah,
Accept creator.
you got it.
Swallow the sun.
See you around.
There you
Rock
go.
on.